Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hello, everybody. Coming in hot. Coming into a full room. Place is packed. How we doing? Let's set this little spicy girl up. Beautiful. How's everyone's day? Everyone chilling? Anyone Bing chilling? Perfect. It's perfection. What do you guys want to see me draw? You get to pick. User's choice. I didn't say that in a mean way, by the way. I'm glad. That's perfect. Alright. Let's just do, my day was good, drew some nice shaded stuff today. Oh, sick, dude. Hell yeah. Ask for a crow. I'm on my other account. Oh, what's up, Galaxy Dragons? Really original for me, I know. How about this? Let's do another Gorilla's character. And then let's do a crow. Who should we do? Let's do the main guy, the main singer guy. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's do a crow first. Who the hell cares? Ring burn. Oh yeah. As the crow flies, as they say. I still can't believe I'm still thinking about I'm still thinking about that stream last night where that the Twitch chatter was all over you guys. Cough. Galaxy, relax. We're getting started. We're getting used to everything. Okay, so we're doing a full demo of a crow, and it's going to be a same. Coco isn't a real fan, but they might end up. What if Coco came into the YouTube chat and became your guys' best friend? We can never know. Okay, so full tutorial on a crow. If you are drawing a crow, or honestly, hey, here's a fun little lesson. Any animal ever. Fake fan hating on me, I'll never forgive them. But at the same time, it was kind of like a loving hate. You know what I mean? Like they were in on hanging out with us. Okay, so with any bird, you want to start with just a massive oval. And this is going to be their body. Usually, you can get away with a teardrop shape. For a crow specifically, since the head is so, or since the body is so sort of beefy and caked up, classic style, we have to adapt for that and add in a little bit extra instead of just the classic teardrop shape. Like most birds can be a little teardrop, a little head, a little beak, and then their little feet, and then you have like a little indication for feathers or wings or whatever. Crows are different. They're beefed up, caked up even. So, following the rule of everything that I ever gorillas, yeah baby, following the rule that I always try and teach. Draw Sukuna. Ooh, I could do that next. By the way, everyone retain thy tongue. Yeah, of course. We have to cool it on the swear words. Everything that you want to draw can be boiled down into simple shapes, and those simple shapes help us figure out what exactly this drawing is going to look like, how it's going to look, the perspective it's going to look like, everything. Simple shapes basically guide us to success in every single drawing. So what I'm doing here, with every animal, every person, everything, you can start every head drawing with just a circle. And I'm going to say that a million times over because it is actually very important. So we're going to start with a circle for the head, this big oval for the body, right? We can even throw in a little indication that the neck is here by throwing in maybe like a rectangle or trapezoid or whatever you want to call this guy. we're just going to throw him in. We're just layering in big, simple shapes for us to refine later. I know that his feathers stick out away from his body, so I'm going to turn that into a triangle. Just like a very simple following that outside curve into a triangle, and those are all going to be his back feathers. Now, from here, we're already sort of starting to see that bird shape come alive. So, we can just refine a little bit. I'm going to maybe straighten up this line right here, give him maybe a little bit of a popped out chest. Maybe he's like a tough ass crow, right? So I'm just going to extend that line a little bit, and I'm just editing that simple shape. Well, aren't you a cat or something? Okay. Well, this version of Galaxy's a dragon, so we have to say she's a dragon, which is fine. It's great. I'm just editing this simple shape, so I'm going to throw in a little bit of an extra bump there for that awesome chest, and then I'm going to think about the legs. I bet on my life, on my mama, the legs are going to be about here. So I'm just going to throw in a little rectangle, just as an indication of where I think those legs are going to be. And then if you really want to, you can throw in a little indication of how those talons are going to splay out from that leg, but we're just focusing on simple shapes right now. What's up, everybody? I'm glad you're all here. You said bass? We don't do mom jokes. Oh, Crow, did you do a mom joke in front of Galaxy? But as you can see, like all we've drawn, I can even darken some of these up. We've drawn a triangle for the back feathers. We've drawn a big oval for the body. We've edited that oval just slightly for a chest pop out because this guy is tough. We've drawn a little bit of a rectangle for the neck and a circle for the head. Every animal's head is a circle at some point. So, if we start with that circle, this is cool as hell. You make it look so simple, but man. Oh, dude, I'm glad. Thanks, Malik. Whoa, what's up, Mariah? How you doing? We're drawing, we're doing little tutorials, we're hanging out. We're feeling awesome. Yes, this bird is tough. So, from here, we can sort of start seeing this bird take shape. And of course there's going to be a ton of details inlaid in this, but the best way, whoa, Bing Chili. Basically, the best way you can go about drawing is if you can get all of these simple shapes down, you can get an outline going. And what that outline is going to do is it's going to set us up to get all of the details into the right spots. So with this head, I'm pretty comfortable with the size of it. So we're going to start inlaying maybe a start of a beak. So to do this beak, I'm going to throw in a circle where it touches the head closest and a little point down here, just away from the head, right? And that's going to give me a little bit of information of how to get this beak to look like it's sticking away from that body or away from that head. So I'm just going to connect that point over to this circle. And then in my brain, I remember that this is a 3D object. It's sticking out and away from this head. So it's going to make it a lot easier when I am inlaying some actual details onto this guy that this beak looks solid. You draw digitally? Oh, sweet. I draw better. I don't think so. I think everybody draws pretty damn well. Sorry, Galaxy. Okay, so we have that beak, we have the head, we have the neck, we have everything. And that beak, you know what? I kind of want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take this simple shape that we just drew all together. Sent 317 likes. Oh my god, Bing Chili. Bing Chili, you're kind of like crazy on it. You're kind of bouncing on it right now. Okay. I kind of want this beak to be a little bit bigger, so we can take that simple shape that I just drew, and I'm just going to add a little bit of weight and width to it, very simply. I might even extend it out a little bit. And basically, with all of these super light lines, what's up with that, Nathan? Sorry. Everybody, I'm sorry. What this does is it gives us more and more information to inlay some more details. So with this beak, since I'm pretty comfortable with the shape and size of it, I feel pretty comfortable throwing an eye about right there. Something interesting about birds, you can see it in this one. And also if you're ever using reference images, I'm glad you're here, Bing. What you can see is this guy looks like that Gorillaz band guy. Oh, that's exactly who he is. He's the bassist. What you can see here, and if you look at reference images of birds, their eyes are like in the dead center of their head, which is so weird. They can see like all around them, right? So when you're drawing, you have to remember that the eye isn't going to be like on the front of the face like humans are. It's going to be just on the side of the head. And what that means for this drawing is that there's going to be a little bit of a different curve to it. We're going to see a flat edge here, and then that eye is going to pop out to the left because we're trying to convey that it's in the middle of the head a little bit away from us. Super Saiyan, oh my god, I'm right. Dude, Mariah, I'm loving the energy. How can you make a crow dragon? Whoa. Let's do that next. Let's make a dragon crow. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm just barely adding a soft, hard edge right here, and then that pop out for the eye, so it looks like it's sticking that way, like no matter how realistic or cartoonish. Oh, do you think it's true that all art styles have to start with this very simple shapes? Oh, yes, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, every single drawing, if you start with simple shapes, it will look better every single time. All of these were started with just circles, squares, and triangles, and they all look like fairly solid. None of them are, award winning, and that's fine. I'm not trying to win an award right now, but it does help because as we get through this bird drawing, you're going to see how powerful these simple shapes actually turn out to be. Kamehameha! You can do a Goku impression, the Japanese dub. Dude, that's sick. Or Post. Sure, I guess. Guys, I'm doing the tutorial and I'm missing all these chats. Galaxy, what are you talking about? Or Post? You guys are moving so fast on me. So, with this eye is pretty solid, right? We're pretty okay with that, at least that positioning. So, because of that, I feel pretty confident throwing in a little indication that there's going to be a little bit of an eye poking out from this side of the head as well. So we're going to throw that out there. Just so when I'm doing the full outline, I remember to include this part of the head, right? And now that's basically it. This is pretty much all we need to draw to get this crow off the ground and running. So now that we've focused on all these simple shapes, we've drawn the circle, the rectangle for the neck, we've drawn the big bulbous body, we've drawn a little triangle for the tail feathers. We can sort of start just going in and refining just barely this outline. So with a slightly darker line, I'm just going to follow along all of these little lines that we just drew and smooth out some of the harder edges. And we're just going to go along and pick what we think are the best lines. So with these tail feathers, I'm going to add a little bit of spice on it. I'm going to add a little bit of flair with this curve line in, and that's going to jump out and give us a little bit of definition on these feathers. This one, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be able to see the full feather, so I'm going to cut way in on that. And then I'm going to continue on with that outline. Right? Are we all following this? I'll even cut in a little bit more there, and then we can get right back on track, right back onto the sort of goal we had of outlining this crow. So, like we extended that oval on both sides, we're going to follow that outside edge, and we don't really need to worry about the legs yet, because I just want to get this body outline first, so then we can lay in all of these extra details really, really well. So, again, we added that puff out chest to make this guy look especially tough. We always want all of our crow drawings to look especially tough because they're very cool birds. They're very pompous, very proud. Kind of assholes, actually. Interesting how crows are kind of assholes, aren't they? Oh, sorry, Galaxy. As Snap, it's another drawing live. Who's counting the ums? Oh no. Actually, I think I am getting quite better about the ums. Crow, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about crows being of a certain kind, let's just say. So, we have this outline and it's pretty much looking a lot more crowish already. And all we did was start outlining those simple shapes. So I'm going around and I'm just going to refine slightly everything that we just drew. And remember when I said that that eyeball was going to be poking out a little bit? Well, that's going to be included in that outline. So now we can go into this beak, and remember that I added that extra girth to it, a little bit of width, just to make it a little bit more realistic, a little bit more powerful. We'll curve that line, again, just following the outlines that we set up, and then finishing that off with that bottom outline. And already the beak looks a little bit strange, but when we're doing these outlines, you have to remember that this beak is going to be split in half from this bird, and all those little details on the inside after we're done with this outline, that's where it's going to start feeling a lot better, a lot more realistic. Sticking out your gat for the Rizzler, oh my god, Mariah. Coco, what's up? Pigeons. It's a very cute crow, actually. Thank you very much. We're working on him. We're trying to make him look tough. We're trying to make him look realistic, and not so much like an asshole. You're in a very well hydrated. Thank you very much. That's perfect. You eat parrots? That's crazy. Also there's an no! As a former Destiny 2 player, I also agree crows are kind of dramatic. This is like a free art lesson. Dude, let me tell you, that's exactly what it is. It's a free art lesson all the time, everywhere. We do them all the time. And it's always working. And guess what? As I teach, I get better at drawing. So what happens is the lessons get better every single time too. If you stick around, you'll probably end up in a museum. That's all I'm going to say. I hope that you and your whole family has a very nice Christmas. Dude, you're making progress. You're making real strong progress on being nice. Give him a sword? Ooh. Okay, let's write that down. I like that. Also, YouTube chat, Coco is in Twitch chat, and she is not throwing punches yet, but I'm sure she will soon. Okay, so we have this outline, and it's cooking. It all came from simple shapes. But now that we have this outline, let's take a step back. Let's think about all of the details that we're trying to get into this drawing. And at the very beginning, why is that thing back in the Twitch chat? Coco, you've got shots coming at you like crazy. Tell Koku that Bloom said you got nothing on her. Oh. Alright. We're back to fighting, everyone. The chats are always fighting. Former D2 player, get back on Renegades. I am also a former D2 player. I haven't touched the game in years, and I have been sort of inkling on getting back into it, but I can't decide. With this drawing, back to the drawing, we are going to give him a sword. We might give him some armor. Do not worry. But that outline showed us a great deal of information. I now know that this eye is kind of too far away from the beak. So what we're going to do, this is sort of the beauty of drawing, everybody. We're just going to erase the eye. Don't think about it too much. Just erase the eye and redraw it. So I want it to be a little bit closer to this beak, because I know that the edges of the beak are going to be about right there and right there, right? And birds' eyes, although they are in the center of the head usually, they're also fairly close to the beak. So I'm just going to move it maybe a half step over. And that's all I'm going to do. And then, now we can look at this drawing again with that sort of take a step back mentality, that crazy style bouncing on it mentality, and that eye looks a hell of a lot better. So, with that, I'm going to add in a little bit of a harder detail into it. I'm going to give it a little bit more shape. I'm going to refine that simple shape into something more realistic by making it a slight teardrop. And whoa, mama, that's kind of looking nice. So we can do the same for this eye. We're just going to close that gap into the beak, into that eye, and I'm going to call that good. I don't even care if it's a little bit off, because guess what? Sometimes finishing a drawing is more important than fixing one eye. Why do people name themselves like a dog? 'Cause dogs are cool, bro. Chill out on it. Yeah, keep insulting Coco. They deserve it. I don't think Coco's deserving it. I'm too busy to fight with YouTube rats right now. Oh, Okay, never mind. I think Coco's deserving it now. Hating is still hate no matter what it is. Galaxy, preach, brother. You've got it cooking. Okay, so this eye's looking solid. Let's finish up this beak, or at least add in that split in the mouth so we know it's a beak and not just some sort of crazy parrot piece, right? So we're throwing in that line. It's going to gum and end right underneath that eye. So I can put a little mark there, a little mark in the beginning, and we're just going to follow through on that line and hope that it looks good. And again, these are all just like starting lines. We're not married to any of these, but which queen was right? Lightfall, not so much. Oh my gosh. Matthew Watson. I see right through your name, Matthew Watson. Coco, I hope the glitch ruins your whole year. Wow. Coco's over there just busy. She doesn't even care at all what anyone's saying. Okay, so now that we have this beak line, that's a better indication of what this beak is going to look like. Right off the bat, I think it extends too long, but we've got bigger fish to fry. We have the whole body of this crow to sort of work on. So we're going to come back, and guess what, everybody? We're going to think about simple shapes first, one more time. The twitch. Basically, if we want any sort of semblance of a wing, we know that it's going to be about from shoulder, like the base of the neck, and it's going to be a little bit of a smaller oval on top of this bigger body oval. So we can start just throwing in an indication for something that might end up becoming a wing, right? And all of this does is it sets us up for containers. Oh, thanks, saying I got tough knuckles. I appreciate the guy fight. Yeah, of course. If Coco comes to YouTube, banner from the channel. Galaxy, were you even here for the whole battle? You're jumping in hot. Okay, we're just setting up containers. No, like, what's your Twitch user? Oh, I think it's Nayswan isn't it? Can someone tell me what... It's my, Let's check. Let's check it out. Because if this guy's gonna jump over to Twitch, that's perfect. Yes, it is Nayswan. I can even write it over here. There you go. Damn it, there was another We were so close. We were so good forever. Okay, back to this drawing. We're just setting up containers. We're setting up basically little boxes or little Tupperwares that we can then inlay detail. So, although this oval doesn't really look like a wing, it sets us up for success because we know that everything has to be about in this area, right? So we can take a stab at throwing in maybe right here is where that wing starts, and that's going to curve down around following that container we just set up, right? And then because wings have a ton of feathers and ton of depth, we're going to exercise that throwing some sauce on it mentality. And I'm just going to throw in a little lip right there. We're going to continue following that outline, maybe throw in a little lip right there, and then we're going to continue that outline and try and get it to line up a little bit with these tail feathers. Because, guess what? The wing feathers are pretty long too. Of course they're going to stick out the back. You wouldn't know if I joined YouTube. I probably would. We're like 4 people strong right now. I think a new name would be pretty obvious. Say 2010, I found the Twitch, let's go. I'm glad to have you. I'm very happy to have a couple people in the Twitch chat. Caveman Sounds art tutorial stream when? Ooh. If she insults us, tell me. I will. I can do that for you, Galaxy. So, remember, we just took that simple shape, and now we're just throwing some sauce on it. We're just throwing a little bit of a delicate spice on there, and we're floating into those tail feathers. And already, like you can see, this bird looks more like a bird every time that we add a little bit of detail. Sup, I only insult if they throw punches first, self-defense. That's great. That's a perfect mentality to have. I think you should keep that. Now that we have that wing, basically, we can start playing with detail. We can start like really throwing in some feathers here. We can go back up to the head. We can throw up some chest stuff. excuse me, we can do basically anything we want to because that outline that we set up in the very beginning is teaching us where all of these details should be consistently, right? So I'm already seeing maybe we throw in a little volume right above that wing to make it feel more three-dimensional, right? And then we can even cut away some of this pompous chest that we added to give a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to erase that a little bit, and still in line with that outline, the simple shape, I'm just going to cut this guy in to that final point, and then this is going to be our new sort of chest line, our new sort of pompous chest line that's going to add structure to this wing, okay? So, guess what? Simple shapes. Let's think about it. If we take these feathers that we had set up with a little bit of sauce on, right? Oh, thanks for the repost. Thanks for liking. We can take all of these things and turn them into simple shapes. So I'm going to throw this into an oval. The skates grew. They know they're outnumbered. Yeah, they do. The Twitch army is not a big army right now. You're just too tired. Coco's too tired to fight. I think Coco just wants to chill everybody. We can be fine just chilling with everybody. And honestly, I would much rather just be chilling instead of all of the infighting that usually happens. We can turn all of these little sauce points into smaller containers. Oh my god, wait a second. You think that turning things into simple shapes might help your drawing? Yeah, baby. Guess what? That's the only thing that helps your drawing. So now that we have these three little containers, we now know that we can throw in random details into these three, and it's going to give us a more depth in the drawing. It's going to give us a little bit of extra playing room. It's going to give us spots to stop lines. Sometimes whenever you're drawing, you can get into this point where, I don't know where this line should start and stop. But all of these little containers that we're focusing on, it slowly gives you all of the reason to start and stop certain lines. So I'm just playing right now. I'm not really doing anything on purpose. I'm just adding these swoopy lines every so often, and it's sort of giving the illusion that there are feathers happening here. There are feathers on this bird, which is crazy. Imagine that we just started from a bunch of blobs, a bunch of random shapes, and now we're slowly getting like a fairly realistic look into feathers. So we're just going to add in a bunch of those random little swoops. It kind of looks like pimples. That's fine. I didn't create birds. I just draw them. Can we all just chill out for a second? I'll accept this defeat if it means peace for the day. Guys, Coco's fine taking the L. Coco is very chill, just relaxing for the rest of the night. Oh, what's up, Assassin? How you doing? Welcome in. We're hanging. A lot of infighting between the chats. A lot of, what are we drawing? We're drawing a crow. I'm trying to teach as much as I can as we go through the drawing. I might miss some things, but guess what? Don't shoot the messenger. Alright. So this feathers, all these wing parts are looking like fairly solid. And when we are in that finishing phase, we can make them look nice. But guess what? We don't have to make them look nice right now. We're just chilling. That's the biggest part, the biggest takeaway I can teach you when drawing is if you're freaking out over a drawing, if you're going absolutely buck wild crazy and you can't figure out how something is supposed to look, relax. We're supposed to be chilling. We're supposed to be having fun while drawing. So if you're not having fun, fix it. So we're going to go back up and add some detail around the eyes. Sometimes with bird's eyes, it's much better to leave a little bit of a white buffer around the eye to show that those fur and that all the feathers sort of switch directions. So we're just going to inlay a little line around it. And that's going to give us an indication or some information that when we are coloring in or adding in a ton of detail. Oh, see ya, Galaxy. You have to go. Sorry for being chaotic. That's alright. Nerdy artist. Come on. That's my whole thing. Alright. See you later, Galaxy. as we're doing this, it gives us those little bits of information that, hey, don't color this in too much because we need to be able to see the eye in the finished product. I'm even going to throw in a little bit of white feathers around this crow's eye, just because sometimes you'll find crows and they look a little bit old and haggard. It's 'cause they have that little bit of white fur around their eyes to block sunlight, brother. An hour? Maybe the real art was the friends we made along the way. Exactly. How long is the average stream? Yeah, it's normally an hour. We usually just kind of grind through a couple of lessons and then I get tired and I want to quit, so I do. It doesn't get much more simple than that. Okay, so now that we're sort of in this detail phase and we're already throwing in feather stuff around the eye, we can go around. Are you drawing other stuff? Yeah, we'll probably draw some other stuff after this crow. We're just chilling. We're just trying to get through this one and see how many lessons can we like extrapolate. Whoa, big vocab word for the people in chat. How many lessons we can take from this simple crow drawing and take it into every other drawing that we do all the time. Can you draw Manila, please? Sure, I can write that down. So, with this, since we're already sort of cooking with all of these random little details, you kind of get to this point in every drawing where you get to enter a flow state. And what that is I can go around and I can edit this outline, I can edit this beak, and just slowly but surely add in all of the little details I was imagining when I started this drawing. Instead of what a lot of us do, and what a lot of us get kind of tripped up on, is we'll start every drawing and figure that we have to get details out immediately. We have to get all of these images and all of these thoughts onto paper as fast as possible. But in reality, if you take your time and just get all of this structure done first, then you can go in at the very last stage, and that's where you can edit and add in all of those things that you wished you did in the very beginning. And guess what? It's always going to look a hell of a lot better. Literature and art? Who said that? Cat! Amen. Dude, I know. Alright, I doubled the likes. I'm satisfied. Good night. Thank you, Hat. That is very, very good. Murdoch! Artistic Kid 12. New guy. What's up? How you been? We're chilling. We're drawing. We're doing lessons. We're talking about politics. We're talking about taking down the world governments. We're talking about Diet Coke. We're talking about addiction. Alright, back to it. So, from this, we are in that flow state right now. I hate to tell you this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We're flowing. So what that means is all of the details that I wished I could have added in the very beginning, I now can, because guess what? I did the work, I spent the time, and this crow is starting to look normal because I spent so much time. We spent 20 minutes. Mark it. Somebody mark this down. Somebody write this down in their addiction. No, 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 no. Do you agree that the end city is the tyrannical communism? So this crow drawing, are the politics we're talking about the Vanity Fair photos? It can be. It could always be. With this, all of these simple shapes are turning into exactly what we want in a drawing, right? All I have to do now is really just sort of chill out, vibe out, listen to some tunes maybe, think about life maybe, add in some sort of gray washing, add in a little bit of small details, add in a little bit of color, and this drawing is going to start to come to life in front of our very little precious eyes, and everyone's going to say, wait a second, this guy kind of cooked on this one. Wait a second, this guy actually taught me something. If I take my time and do something correctly, it turns out way better than if I try and do it incorrectly very, very fast. And I'm over here thinking, duh, idiot. Yeah, that makes sense. How's Twitch chat doing, by the way? Are you guys happy? Are you guys having fun? I haven't talked to you in ever. So, all we have to do now is color block. And I know that the bottom half of this crow is going to be very, very dark. So let's just throw in a bunch of color. Let's just throw in a bunch of dark tones on all of the underside of this bad, bad boy, right? And we can even we'll leave these top feathers pretty light because I'm guessing they're going to be a light gray, Because guess what? The sun works. Captain Chronic, I'm chiller. Fuck yeah. Alright, with this, we have that gray wash going. We have some solid details going. Let's color in this eye. Let's kind of take a leap of faith. I want a little bit of glare on this eye, so I'm going to throw in just a boundary for something that I don't want to color in, right? And then I'm just going to color in everything around it. And look at how cute that guy looks. Just in 2 seconds, I added one little glare to his eyeball, I colored it in, and now he looks like handsome as hell. And then the same thing on this eye. We'll add in a little boundary on this corner, and then we'll just color everything else in. And oh my god, look at that! You could take that guy to prom. You could take that guy to prom and you guys could dance naughty style, and it's fine. Okay, so from here, we can just continue to slowly refine all of these lines. I'm going to extend that chin out a little bit into that end of the beak. I'm going to refine this neck. I kind of want the neck to be a little bit skinnier, so I'm going to start that line right there. We can pop out his chest a little bit to make him look oh so tough. We can follow that outline down. We can add in a little bit of a darker line here because I'm pretty confident that's going to stick around for the whole drawing. And then we can start going a little bit darker on some of these places. You see how I'm every step of the way, I'll go up, I'll add a little detail to the face, then I'll work my way down and I add another layer. It's just like a constant sort of flow of layers that we're adding to this drawing because you don't want to rush any of this. You don't want to rush the details, you don't want to rush the setup, the structure, all of those super good, yummy little bits of a drawing, because guess what? We've spent 20 so minutes on this. We've spent all the work trying to get a really solid structure going. We can't just throw it away. Where is his sword and armor? That's coming after. That's the after part. Once we get the bird done, then we draw the accessories. Have I not taught you anything, Coco? Really? Nerd Power, Murdoch, JK. Wait, what are you? Oh, that's a bummer. I was just about to ask her for fan art thingy. We might have to let that fan art thingy you're referencing die. Okay, so now that we have this really dark tone, we can go in here and we can add a little bit of a lighter tone because that contrast is going to make this thing pop! Pop like crazy. Pop my booty when I'm dancing. It's all normal. When I say stuff, it's okay. When you say stuff, it's very bad. Okay, so we're just going to start refining all of these little lines. And that outline, remember for this feather, I really liked it, so I'm just going to refine it and make it permanent by making it a little bit darker. Then for this one, we can throw a little bit of extra sauce on it. We can throw in some extra lines. We're using a reference image, so you know you can take notes and you can take inspiration from how those feathers look. So I'm just going to freeball, Freemason, free chiller, all of these little lines, and all of a sudden we have a new container to add detail in. So I'm just going to continue slowly following all of these little lines. And birds are incredibly cool because the feathers are just sort of everywhere. And they always meld into each other. They sort of look like roses at some point. They look like petals. They look interesting. They look fun. So when you're drawing them, don't get too stressed about making them look perfect. Just throw in a couple of these big swoopies. Just chill on it. Bounce on it even. It's fine. Take it to prom like I said earlier. All of these things are good things to do in a drawing. And remember, when you're thinking about perspective, the feathers up here are going to be a lot skinnier than the ones down here because we're looking directly at some of these feathers, but we're only seeing the top side of that. Speaking of, do you still want the femboy profile picture? Yeah, we might as well. We gotta rip them. We talked about them so much, we probably should. I was thinking about it, I probably have to mute a lot of that VOD. That can all just stay between us. So, as we're moving along, we're just focusing on big broad shapes for these top feathers, but guess what? When you're thinking about wings, when you're drawing wings of a bird, the feathers change, like the winds on a cold, dark, stormy night. So these feathers on the bottom are going to be a lot longer. So, as we're going, instead of those big swoopies, or like the big bowl swoopies, we're going to have long, kind of crazy style swoops instead. And that's going to lead us basically to Valhalla. So I'm just going to throw in some intro lines, some little indications of that's what the feathers look like. Again, I'm not using too much pressure on my pencil. I'm just throwing in little details of these long feathers in contrast to those short and stumpy ones, right? And since those feel so good, I'm probably just going to add a little bit of a darker outline on all of them. And guess what? All of a sudden, this bird's feathers look pretty realistic. We're just going for pretty realistic. Do you have a mod? No, of course not. I have like 2 viewers max. I don't need a mod. If someone says something horrible, I'll just kick them out myself. Basically, oh god, cat's blushing. Basically, am I missing any chats? No, I don't think so. We're fine. So, as you can see, like those look pretty realistic, and we can just sort of follow that trend down. Let's have that tail feather connect into these feathers. And we can do that with just like a very simple little extra line that we're drawing. I'm even going to throw one on top. Screw it. It's our destiny, people. Just throw in some extra lines. I'm even going to throw in a little extra detail lines. Now that those look pretty solid, I'm going to pick a couple and darken the outline so then people looking at this drawing can understand what I'm trying to achieve with that piece. And now you can basically, since we have those dark permanent lines, you can go over this drawing with a little bit of a gray wash, and all of a sudden it looks like all those feathers are black instead of white. Wait, what the hell? That's how pencils work? Yeah, baby. Shake my head. Coco, how am I expected to have a mod when you're the only one in chat? So, from here, all we have to do, guess what? You nailed it. We're just going to continue to refine. So we can go in, and this foot that we drew earlier, that was just a rectangle, let's refine those edges, add a little bit of a curve to it. We can draw some talons, and that's fine. That'll be great. But guess what? I kind of want this guy standing in a little bit of grass. So we're just going to draw the top edges of all of these talons, keeping it very simple. And then I'm going to throw in a little indication that he's on grass instead of anything else, right? And then that drawing, we can just color in those little talons and let the viewer sort of fill in the blanks that is that talon foot in the grass instead of drawing a super highly detailed foot, right? Are we all tracking with this? And then of course he needs his back foot, so let's just throw in a little indication of that. Right behind there, we can darken up that outline a little bit. And bingo, baby, look at that. That foot looks almost realistic. And that's our goal here. We're just constantly trying to get almost realistic, because that's all my skill can take us to do. Okay, let's take a step back. What are we thinking? How are we feeling? I feel pretty damn good. This crow looks fine and solid. I'm not trying to win a prize. I'm just trying to draw a cute crow. And I think I might be on the right path. So I'm just going to continue to refine and darken up all of these little bits and bobs and pieces of this crow, and we are going to slowly hope that he starts turning out. And with this, it's always fun whenever you're doing this color in stage. It's fun to look at references and see how feathers and how fur lays on these birds, because it usually follows the shape of the head very well. And just by adding in those directional lines instead of only horizontal lines or only vertical lines, you can sort of convey shape and how this bird sort of sits on itself and how its feathers work with just a bunch of different directional lines. So you see how I'm curving some lines, I'm going straight on some lines, I'm going horizontal on some lines, and that's adding texture. And what texture does is it makes our drawing look more realistic. Let's give him a little cowlick in the back too. What a cute guy. Maybe he has like a little fur on the top of his head too, almost cartoony. So you can just sort of follow that flow of the head, get some of that color in there, and then you can just continue down all the way and really get some of those dark values in there. You can get some of that fur value in there. You can go back to these feathers and you can touch those up. You can add in a bunch of random textures like scriggles or whatever you want to call anything in this world. And guess what? This crow is looking pretty solid. At least for a quick tutorial. Like, that's at least a black bird. That is at least a crow. Let's color in his beak. And then let's give him, out of this grass that we've drawn, which is just a bunch of scribbles, right? We're not doing any... Jesus, Chan just joined. Out of this grass comes an incredible night sword. So we're going to draw a very simple rectangle shape. And this grass is sort of taking it over as it's sticking into the ground. We can draw a little bit of a start of a hilt. Oh, that's looking like a pretty cool sword to me. Keeping all of these shapes fairly simple, just because the simpler you keep all of this stuff, usually the better it looks. We'll throw in some gems on this side. We'll throw in a little bit of gem action on this side, shade it just slightly. Dude, look at this sword. Oh, I messed up that line. That's fine. That's all part of drawing. And then this hilt is going to continue down into its handle. Whoa. Look at that. Coco, this one's for you. I hope you're watching. If you're not, oh my god. We'll throw in a little bit of color there. We'll throw in a little ribbing for the handle. And then we can even shade that center of the blade, because these edges are going to be pretty sharp. Look at that, everybody. And then we can throw in another gem right here. And there's a crow and a sword. Simple as good. Lil A knows. You're still here. Robert, I don't like this rock. But look at that nice little sword. He's a cute guy. Tell Coco that I tell you to tell her. Coco, Crow is asking, how is your day? And how's the weather in the other chat? Nothing else. Those are the only things that he said. Also, we've been drawing for 46 minutes. This crow is looking okay. I don't think it's the best crow I've ever drawn, but we can take this dark outline pencil and we can sort of finalize and finish up some of these lines. And maybe with this finalization, we can refine some of the things that make this drawing look a little bit off. So I'm going to cut in over here. I'm going to add a little bit of flair around these back feathers. I'm going to throw in a little bit of sauce and flair on these tail feathers, just because I'm trying to get all of this to look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more like what I wanted to draw in the beginning. So we can just update and outline a few of these pieces to try and save this drawing. It doesn't necessarily need a ton of saving, but there is just a little bit of uncanniness that I'm seeing. So I'm just going to use this darker value to sort of accentuate some of the details I wished I would have shown a little bit better. And slowly but surely, maybe we even shrink up the head just a little bit. We can bring his eyebrow and his eye in a little bit as well. We'll just slowly darken all of that stuff up. We'll touch up his little fur on his nose. We can touch up his eye. Maybe his eye was drawn at the wrong angle, so now we can sort of change that up, keeping him cute though. And all of a sudden, that little bit of extra work I did slowly kind of makes this guy come to life just a little bit more. And I can take these dark lines and I can use this as sort of a cheat code to get a little bit more definition, a little bit more difference, a little bit more contrast in all of these little pieces. And what this is going to do is hopefully make this drawing feel or look a little bit closer to what we wanted to in the very beginning. And I think, you know what, it probably did just that. And at a certain point, I just wanted to finish the drawing, not make it the most beautiful thing on earth. So we can throw in a little bit of extra shading on the beak as well to make it more interesting. And guess what, baby? There's the crow. Can you make it fruity? Day is good, weather is cold. That makes a lot of sense. Can I make it fruity? Let's think about that. Let's first outline this sword. Also, I'm surprised at how awesome this sword turned out. I don't usually draw a lot of swords. So, it's fun to see, you know, you take your time with some simple shapes and all of a sudden you have a banging sword. Guess what? There's a lesson in there somewhere, and somebody needs to learn it, and it's not me. So, we're just going to finalize some of these shapes. We're going to finalize this little guy. We're going to add a little gemstone there. We can throw in some texture, maybe a little gleam on that gem. Bingo, bango, bongo. Dude, that's Bangerade. Yeah, that's pretty Bangerade. I think, yeah, I think I bounced on it. No, I was spooked by the feathered description. Yeah, sorry about that. By the way, Coco, is it true that you were drawing... Crow, I think that left the channel. Can you draw Manila now, please? Yeah, baby, let's look it up. What is Manila? I can't make it fruity, Coco. I'm not sure how I make it fruity. Maybe, you know what? How about this? This will be the fruity ad. We'll give him a little curly smile, and then we'll give him like eyebrows like this, and he's kind of thinking, whoa, 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 mama. That's as fruity as we can get this guy. Alright, let's look up Manila. Who in the world is Manila? Nah, I wasn't planning on it. Besides, most of y'all are probably minors, so it'd be really weird. Dude, that is probably the best sentence I've ever heard come out of this chat. Let's use some... Let's all use our consciences. Manila is a crazy drawing to ask for. This guy looks... this guy looks like a wet baby. He's from Godzilla. Okay. Yeah, we can draw this. We can draw this big hunk of meat. Okay. So, next drawing. Banger. Thanks, Lele. How's everyone doing? No one is talking now. I think chat died. I think so too. I was too deep into the whole teaching thing. And that's sort of a hard, that is a hard trade-off. Every time I really start cooking on a tutorial, it's hard to look up at chat. Crow, she can see you, but usually she's on mobile, so she can't really read the horrible things you write. Let's see. He is a portrait of himself. He really is. He's very cute, but he does look like a wet baby. And I'll stand by that. Alright, let's draw Manila. Same lesson as always, everybody. Let's start with simple shapes. Manila's got a big old honkin' head, so we're going to throw a big circle for him, right? And then his body, his neck, everything else, we can basically boil down into squares, into little rectangles. Next, draw Final Wars Goji. Ooh, I could do that, but guess what? Look at the timer. We're going to do this drawing and probably end Crow. So, I'm not going to draw his full body, but we can draw his shoulders. So we'll just throw in some big, lumpy shapes for the rest of his body, right? And even so, looking at this right now, that neck's a little bit too long. So I'm just going to erase before we even get going. This is the most important stage of all drawing, is like all of this setup, right? So we really want to make sure that this part is at least like fairly solid or fairly accurate. Now, from here, we're going to take this circle and we are going to draw a smaller circle on the inside, and that's going to be the container for his snout. He's got a pretty big snout and a wide mouth, so we're going to throw in a long oval for this way. I just got some sort of notification. I can't tell what's happening. We're going to throw in some long oval right here, and that's going to be our mouth for this guy, right? Then, guess what else we need? We need eyeballs. So let's draw two small circles up here for the eyeballs. And then, basically, that's all of the pieces to this puzzle. That is like all of this drawing, all of this guy's face, right? Are we all tracking on this? If you something like that in the future, Monster X is superior. Oh, this is why Crow is starting to you're gonna break knees, Crow, you a Goji fan. Uh-oh, we've found commonality. The only person I will draw is Naze since he is older and gave me permission to. Dude, I like where your head's at, Coco. That is very good. Okay, so guess what? We have all these simple shapes. He's got like a little bit of a ridge, a little bit of a bone structure going on the top of his head. We know that his cheek pops out a little bit over here. We know that his cheek pops out a little bit over here. So we're just boiling this down into all of the simplest shapes. And guess what? This guy's pretty simple. So let's start laying in that outline that I always talked about. With this drawing, his head is actually a little bit more narrow than this circle that we drew to set up all these containers allows for. So I'm going to throw in another oval on top of all of this. Depends on which era. Ooh, which is your favorite? Let's talk about Goji. Look at me not being a creep online unlike 90% of people. Dude, it is warfare out there. Every time I open up any app, I see something, I go, God damn it, and I have to close the app. It's so crazy. Just like, chill out. So I added in this oval, and that's going to give us a better refined edge to get this outline right. So we're going to start at that top. I'm going to cut into the eyebrow. I'm going to swoop down into that original circle we drew, and then we're going to cut out a little bit into that cheek that we drew. And everybody's thinking, oh my God, wait a second. Nathan, how the hell did you know where to put all these lines? Guess what? It's the simple shapes, you big dumb idiot. It's always the simple shapes. That's the only thing I'm able to teach is the simple shapes. And it works every single time. So we're going to follow that oval again, all the way around. His big ugly mug of a head. And since his head's turned away from us a little bit, this other side of the head is going to be pretty much just that circle curve. So we're going to throw that curve down, we're going to connect it into the neck, we're going to go back over all of these things and just slowly refine them. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting pretty with that outline. And this gives me Millennium is somehow more interesting, although Hensey is my childhood. That makes sense. That's so real, he looks scary. He will be, but he's kind of nice at the same time. He's nice with it. Okay, so now that we have this cheek set up and we have the back of the head set up and we have sort of all of these simple shapes set up, do you bite your fingernails? Oh, Jordy, you called me out in front of my whole fucking chat? Really? We're really gonna talk about my gross little nubbins of fingernails? Yeah, I do bite them. Manila is the son of Godzilla. He looks like the son of Godzilla. He looks like a freak. Just kidding. I love this little guy. We're going to go back into this simple shape that we set up. We're going to go back. Oh, sorry. TikTok is trying to kick me out because I'm too funny. So I have to drag a puzzle piece, and there it is. Nom nom. Oh, Jordy's cooking me. Guys, Jordy's cooking me in TikTok chat. Why do I eat them? It's just sort of a nice thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Is that so hard? He called me out hard. I know, Coco. And now everybody's laughing at me. Everyone's pointing and laughing. So we're going to take this oval that I set up for that simple shape of the mouth, and we're going to start refining this. But because we have this cheek set up, we sort of know the bounds of this mouth just a little bit better than we did previously. So we're just going to slowly follow that outline, but we're going to throw on just a little bit of sauce where we want more detail to be. So his mouth sort of cups out from itself. So we're going to throw that in there. And then it evens back out into that wide stance, that wide body. And then it curves back into normalcy. And then we're going to have just a little bit of an indent for his nose and nostrils. And everyone's thinking, whoa, this mouth looks absolutely crazy. And yeah, it does in real life. But this is a real person, so we can't say mean things about them. Okay, then let's just start throwing in some teeth. He's got some like nubbins. He's got some weird little baby teeth, but they're baby Godzilla teeth, so they're probably still the sizes of cars. So I would say don't test him, but also maybe point and laugh at him just a little bit. So we're going to throw in just some random triangles, just something to get us satiated, just something to make us laugh. And that's nice. Now, we have the head, we have the mouth, we have all of these sort of systems. I'm more sophisticated, I just tear my long nails to make them shorter. Hey, different strokes for different folks. Oh yeah, that's what alcoholic homeless man from the 7-Eleven said to me once. Yeah, exactly. No! Crow, don't say that. May Manila guide him to his afterlife. He will, too. This guy's a freak. Alright, so with this, now that we have the nose, this actually teaches us where we should have the snout. So we can start outlining that piece of this puzzle. Basically, every drawing is one little puzzle, and we're just trying to find all of the little pieces that make it look more realistic with every stroke, right? So, with his nose, he kind of has these weird, like, jowls on top, and then his nose is basically sort of like a Voldemort system, where it's just these nostrils sticking out. So I'm just going to inlay 2 little nostrils right there, and we can add in whatever amount of detail we want to later, but for now, we have bigger fish to fry. So I'm just going to slowly refine some of these shapes, making them feel a little bit more 3D, and let's move on to the eyes. So, we have the nose, we have the mouth. All of this is giving us more information to get the eyes in the perfect spot. Bye, YouTube people. Oh, sweet. Alright, well, thanks for hanging out, Coco. Glad to have you. I'll see you around next time, hopefully, but if not, that's alright too. Now that we have these eyes, we can just slowly start adding in all of the detail that we think is going to be in them. So I'm going to start with the bottoms of these eyelids, because they're a little bit separate from the eyes, and then we are going to draw up and around into the eye shape, and then he has top lids that also stick out from his body, so we're going to draw those too. Check it out, we're slowly getting to a very solid, a very fun point of this drawing. And he's got a bunch of crazy wrinkles on this top eyelid, so we're going to draw on a little bit of extra pizzazz there as well. And then we can throw in his big irises, which are basically the whole, like all of his eyes are his irises, and they're all brown, so we can color it all in, and that'll make this drawing look a little bit more realistic. And then we can throw in a little pupil, and then an indication of a glare that we will erase later. And then we are just going to shade and figure out his eyebrow structure. And guess what? From here, this drawing is pretty much finished. We just have to make it look solid and nice now. So from here, he has a little bit of a bone mohawk, so we're going to draw that up and around from him. We can add in some detail and some color on that. And then his whole mouth is going to be a lot darker because guess what? Sun doesn't get in there. So if the sun doesn't touch something, you guessed it, it doesn't get lit up. That's how light works. You guys are driving me crazy. Okay, and now, basically, we just have to refine. So I'm going to go in with my eraser. I'm going to throw in just a little bit of highlight there that I can fix later, because I do definitely want a big glare on his eyeballs. So then now that we have that, we have a better area to shade and figure out. So I'll throw in a bunch of color there. I'll fix his pupil up. Same thing over here. This guy is like arguably kind of cute. I'll say it. I'll be the guy. I'll be the guy that dies for our sins. Don't worry. And we can just slowly figure out all of these little details and how to make them look more and more realistic, which with each pencil stroke. And you know, once you've gotten to this point where you are inlaying these permanent lines and these darker lines, like all of that structure that we set up before, like is the reason that I can just do this very confidently, right? Like everything that I set up and all of the drawing that we did in the beginning is the only reason why I can just sort of throw up a bunch of random lines here and still make it look at least a little bit passable. Now this guy looks crazy, and I probably didn't do the best job at this drawing, but guess what? We focused on all the fundamentals, we figured things out, and he at least looks a little bit like what he's supposed to. And that's all we needed. God, he's crazy looking. And we can just throw on some big bulbous shoulders. And there he is. Give Manila a mustache. I like the mustache idea. Let's give him a little stash. That's perfect. Look at him. That's how it's always supposed to be. Alright. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. That's it. That's the hour. We went through a Sweet Crow drawing. We went through a Manila drawing, a Godzilla baby drawing. He looks like a sock puppet. He really does. Let's darken him up a little bit. And with that, I've gotten my fill for the day. I've gotten my practice for the day. I hope that I've taught you something at least like barely usable. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. And I'm out of here. You know what's really surprising, Crow, is how fast that YouTube chat died. Everybody like just left quickly. Was it something that I said? Oh, did they not like when I went on that huge rant? And that's it. Bingo. What a handsome man. What a freak. By the way, Nathan, guess what? Oh, for anyone watching on TikTok, thank you so much for watching. We are out of here. This is me. I dance, I check teeth, I do taxes, I help the weak, I fix the poor, I do everything else very, very well, and I also draw a ton. And we do these lives pretty much every time we can for like an hour, and we just talk about how to get faces right, how to draw hands, how to do everything. So if you want to come back, please do. Alright, goodbye. Alright, Crow, what do you got for me? Hey! I performed better than 99% of the people that have my similar following. That is Bangerade. That's kind of like a total boner. I can say that now because Galaxy's gone. What a great TikTok outro. Thank you, Assassin. I tried. The reason on why I stay on stream isn't because I actively use your advice or because I draw alongside you. I know. It's kind of cozy here. I'm glad. Thank God. Imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if this was like such a hostile environment. Let's see. I'm responding to texts now. I'm chilling. You like the nerd energy? I'm glad. It's like, and I find you entertaining and amusing. That's so nice. Crow, thank you so much. That's what I've been like. Honestly, that's the only, like my only goal is to be entertaining. And that's why I do drawing tutorials, is because it's something that I can use to talk for an hour straight and not like run out of ways to be entertaining. It's kind of like a trick. It's kind of like a Jedi mind trick. So I'm really glad that you like just hanging out here, because that's what my goal, my like favorite thing, or the best thing ever would to be just to hang out. But the drawing helps me get conversation out. So it's kind of like a win-win. Sometimes, oh, ooh, I spoke too soon. But still, thank you very much. Let me respond to this text and then I can keep chatting. Also, we got like 2 or 3 or 4 maybe in Twitch chat this time. But most of the time, oh god, Crow, you are pretty fun. Oh, nice, okay. I thought I was about to get slam dunked for a second. Sometimes you'll throw out a quick little bait and switch on me, and I can't come back from it. It shuts down my brain. Next time, do Kamata-kun from Gozaban. Ooh, dancing ballet? Whoa, Assassin Doggo, you're kind of going crazy on it. You're like, you're kind of like innovating the game. No, Kamata-kun is cursed. Is she? Also, she? He? Give me a Kamata. Give me some lore on Kamata. It's a thing. Google it exactly like that. Oh, okay. I can do that. Oh my gosh. Just give me a second, okay? It's just a text. It's fine. Okay. We're back. Also, it blew me away. Last night we spent just like an extra 40 minutes just chatting, just like making jokes and chilling. That was really cool. That was like almost a dream come true. All right, let's look up. Wait a second. What if I do this? You can't even see anything. I was trying to switch to my desktop so I could talk about Kamata-kun ballet dancing, but nothing's working. Let's check it out. Let's see. Let's see what all the hype is. What? I'm seeing only ballet dancers, human ballet dancers. Let's just look up Kamata-kun. Is it a YouTube video or is it actually from the show? Is the ballet canon? It's a thing. Google it exactly like that. I'm trying to. I'm seeing Kamata-kun, but I'm not seeing any. I'm seeing him in Christmas shoes, sort of dancing in Christmas shoes. I'll do some research. I'll figure this out. Google. Okay, give me this. Okay. Okay, give me that. I'll copy and paste that. Okay. Should be the first image. Oh. Yeah, I like that picture. God, he is gross. Look at him. God, he looks like the alien popping out of the body in the Alien movies. That's incredible. Also, I love drawing Manila. I want to get better at drawing Manila. He looks so funny. God, he is just a worm. Alright, everybody. I think with all of this, we are going to end. I wonder, ooh, I want to see, I want to check how the Twitch stream did. People actually joined for the first time ever. Can you believe that? Just out of nowhere. Let's check my creator dashboard, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Stream manager, what the hell is this? Sick. Captain Chronic, sketching Coco, Rosie Final. Dude, we're kind of getting somewhere. We are kind of chilling. Well, sweet. Okay, everybody, you should make more. Are you a nerd or geek? It's amazing. By the way, Nathan, I'd like to inform you that one of your most popular shorts is the one on a crow. Dude, I know. Isn't that nuts? You should make more crow specific ones. I could do that. Who are you asking? Are you a nerd or a geek? I am both. I'd give it both. Depends on what, 'cause I can nerd out on something and I can also geek out on something. So I do both. Crow, are we talking making more shorts or making more crow content? You can't be both. Why not? Here's a question. Why can't I? The difference is social awkwardness. Oh, well, which one's more socially awkward? Because I feel I'm pretty solid. I think I'm pretty okay in a social setting. You know what I mean? Like I have a job with people and I'm kind of forced to talk. Nerds? Then I'm a big fat nerd. Sign me up, Playboy. Sign me up for the nerd world. Give me a subscription to Nerd Weekly. I'll read it cover to cover and be happy. I'll smoke my cigar while I'm doing it. Geeks go to conventions and stuff. Well, see, that's kind of nice. See, Assassin, I'm thinking I want to be both, and I might just pull rank and say, I can be. I can do I can do both nice things from both sides. Thoughts? Anybody disagree with that? Nerds only go to conventions working IT support. Well, the only convention I've ever gone to, I was working it, so I think we've all decided that I am just a big fat nerd. Okay, gentlemen, this has been incredible. It was very, very fun. I will make more crow content. It'll be perfect. It'll all do numbers. I'll think about if I am a nerd or a geek. I can probably figure that out by the end of the day. Wait. What do we got? Final buzzer beater hit. You've got a final buzzer beater right now. We'll come back. Need Manila content as well. Okay, I can do that too. We've got crow content. We've got Manila content. We've got ballet content. What about my sewing videos, Crow? You don't like my sewing videos? And we're all waiting in bated breath for Crow's message. Unless he just said, fuse Manila and a crow. That could be fun. Oh, we have to do a crow dragon. It's just that crows are better. That is fair. However, alright, keep it coming, Crow. You got it. Keep it coming, baby! Next time, make a crow with an armor. Oh, I forgot to add armor to this guy. Well, what about the, what about this? This is a crow with armor. What's so wrong? And also a Gothic church in it? Oh, whoa, mama. You're adding quite a bit. And I like it. I'm in. Make another? Okay. Okay, I can do that. Alright, gentlemen. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm out of here. I'll probably be live again, same time tomorrow. See ya!